So it's a big day today because we're out on our 2 or maybe 3 day training sail. We're going to get to know the boat, we're going to come back in, put the tent up and then head out for the night. And who knows, we may sail through the night, we may sit at anchor, but the important thing is we're going to be living on the boat.
I left the entire boat preparation to the crew leading up to the weekend, and then on the weekend itself I said, right, do it, get the boat ready, get it out there, let's go. This is a dress rehearsal of the trip across to Tonga. So the first thing we did was just basically get out in the water and make sure everything's right and then get into it. It's very stable.
So when we set off, all the trade winds have fully established themselves?
Generally it's following us. We get a little bit of northerly, a little bit of southerly, a little bit northeast, southeast, easterly, but it's all from that side. So we will very rarely be doing this going to windward. We just won't do it. We've actually found the mainsail's no good for sailing to windward. We're going to modify a few things. Part of the deal with this training is to work out, not so much get the hours on the water, just work out what's working and what's not. But we're going to definitely change a few things on the sheeting here with the main. And the rest of it's okay. We've rigged an auxiliary forestay in case the outside one breaks. Yard sheet, get that yard sheet in. More main sheet. Looks like a bunch of old women's washing up there. Dave, what are you doing? Maybe we're going to go to the shop and buy some new clothes.
It's like going to flipping sailing school with these guys.
He's had a bad day. But he's not as bad as Captain Blighs.
This weekend's all about sailing with the sort of a dress rehearsal. We've got a fair bit of gear on board, but we've also weighed it down with a lot of extra water as ballast, just to try and mimic the total weight of the boat. Our freeboard is really low now, it's sort of like about here, and the handling of the boat is totally different. And really, it's only the second time that we've sailed the boat with the whole crew, so we're still learning about sheeting angles and the best way to get the rig working. But it's still an eye-opener. We're going to be crowded, and yeah, it's a different boat with the weight. The water is very close, not far away at all. Putting the crew under pressure as well. I'm still getting them to do things, and we'll set the parachute anchor in a minute, and I'm telling them to pull lines that don't exist, and they all scratch their head and wonder where that is, and then they realise. Hey Dave, you're looking a bit dehydrated, mate.
Oh, get in. Oh, that's a relief. Oh, hello.
I think that's the first pee off the boat, actually. I think you've just visited the boat.
There's no privacy around here, you know.
One of the real important things was the parachute anchor. I really wanted to make sure the guys knew how to set it and get it together. If we get a late cyclone, it's going to be the only meal ticket for survival, so it's very important.
It's great to be together as the team of 4. Previously, there's been so many people around and so many different things going on. Whereas now, it's the 4 of us on the boat and relationships are being established. That's a big learning curve. The dynamics have changed. Things are much less trivial than they were when we were just messing around at the campsite. I think you look at each other differently. I certainly do. I don't look at Mike as a 17-year-old. I see Mike as a very competent seaman. I look at Pete and I see his strength and what he's doing. It becomes real. then it's more significant. And our lives will depend upon it.
Obviously this is going to be seriously important when we get going because it'll keep the water out. That's the biggest part. It's a little bit not the same as Bligh, but it's not that far removed. He had leaf cloths going up around the top, but this will get us out of the sun and will keep water out more importantly.
Okay. Can we have some food now?
Nope. No food till tomorrow morning then. The team member who ate an apple, he's putting you all on penance now, so no food till tomorrow morning.
You putting it back in there?
Stuart, he incited me to eat this apple, and so I ate it. You know, I was brought up with this real, headstrong method of seize an opportunity whilst you have it.
Go again. Hang on. Okay, go.
Got it?
Okay.
Hang on, I gotta back it up here.
Hang on.
Wait.
Hang on.
All right, try it now.
No, you can go a little bit more. Oh, that's enough. All right. Now we're going to put this one in here.
That work? Yeah. All right. Ready for the bolts?
Yep.
The hope is with this, we might still be hungry, but at least we'll have some protection tonight. I think day 50 might be a bit bland. But it's okay. If you look at this, this is going to be fine. This will be absolutely fine.
This is going to be quite good. The next thing we want to do is get the flat screen TV hooked in up the front there and install the cappuccino machine. And then I think we'll be pretty much right. Once we got the Dodger set up, we went out and anchored, and I was absolutely determined that they weren't going to eat a thing. You know, this is all part of it.
Just hungry.
The worst part about food is literally probably the first 5 days. After that, your stomach will be shrunk and it won't seem as bad, and you'll get little meagre bits. But it's an interesting sensation because I don't reckon. Well, I mean, even me, I haven't gone for a day without food for probably I don't know when.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little hungry. I haven't had anything since last night. It's livable though. It's not too tough to deal with. We will do what it takes. Don't use that.
So here we are at anchor, a first night on the bounty boat, which will be quite interesting. They've been starving them all day. A few people snuck a bit in, but anyway. And I just gave them their first taste of a lifeboat biscuit, which is going to become a very big feature of this trip.
This is the nicest biscuit I've ever eaten in my entire life. It may just look like a biscuit, but actually, this is steak and chips. Sizzling beautifully, blue. With a bit of pepper sauce on the side.
Dave, stop making love to it and just eat it.
It's anything you want it to be.
I've never tasted such beautiful food in my whole life. Genuinely. I think Don pushed us pretty hard. I pretty much gave it everything that I had. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. I think about 2 hours of sleep last night, and over the course of about 42 hours or something like that, I had 2 of those little ship's biscuits, which evidently wasn't quite enough because it kind of got to me today after a while. Can you smell it?
It smells like dog food.
Yeah, that's it. That's not like dog food. So this is breakfast. Lamb's tongue, biscuit. This is a substitute. We've just killed a bird. We're not really going to kill the bird, so instead we eat
Wow, I can smell it back here. It smells like cat food.
This is... I refuse to buy this type of stuff for my dog I go to a gourmet shop for my dog,
No.
and I'm about to eat
But
this.
it's a gourmet treat. They're $4.50 a tin.
They are
$4.50.
disgusting.
Think of it as sheep caviar.
Don't drop any.
Come on, Davey, have a bite. Is that your share? Is it bad?
Well, here's your biscuit.
They are tough.
Are they edible? No. Can you feel the taste buds or what?
You feel, you feel the furry bits?
Oh my god.
Come on, Dave, swallow her down. They don't look too bad.
No, they're bloody great.
Look at the texture. The taste buds are right on it yet. Wow. Kind of tough.
Disgusting. No, I don't want them.
They're not so good.
They're awful.
Yeah, they're bad. As starving and hungry as I am, I can hardly eat them.
You know, the big part about the training for the whole 3 weeks, let alone this weekend, was really to make them crack. You know, I wanted to make them realise that there's more to it than being physically fit. You've got to be mentally strong, and when you start to run out of food and energy, it affects your emotions, it affects the decisions you make and all sorts of things. So at the end of the day, that was an objective, to really wear them down and see what happened, and it worked. We've had a reaction, we've sort of held the food back, and we got water to drink, but you guys have been doing all the work, and I've been just giving the commands. I've had the same amount of food, virtually nothing, but I haven't been as exerting myself as the others. And to me, it's obvious that we've all got different metabolisms. Pete's gone the longest without food because somehow he missed out on breakfast on Saturday morning, so he's definitely been the longest. And Dave has had an effect, and Mike seems to be pretty reasonable. And I feel reasonable, but as I say, I haven't been doing as much work. I've been sort of grinding these guys. What's up, Pete?
Not so good. Sick and just shaky and weak. Hey, only about an hour and a half of sleep last night. It kind of got to me after a while. Once we just made it out this afternoon out into the open water, and I started feeling kind of shaky. And overall, I guess it gave me a little bit better perspective of what this whole thing is going to be like. Well, it kind of hit me all of a sudden, and it wasn't so much that I felt terribly hungry. It was just that I suddenly got really weak. I could hardly move around, and then I started getting really shaky, and I started hyperventilating and sweating, just sweating profusely. I mean, it was just pouring off of me.
I got a bit of this. Chocolate? You've got to be joking.
Yeah, all right.
19 grams. Dave, you should go shopping more often, mate.
Oh, now you're talking.
No, it's chocolate. You've got chocolate here.
Hand one over.
It's sweet. Yeah.
Hey, just what you need.
Yeah.
So Dave is basically the woman of the household. He does all the shopping. He gets the food. He gets the food ready. He always makes sure his bed is comfortable. He has a nice, comfortable pillow. And yeah, at the end of the day, he's just the woman of the household.
I think it went well overall, and I think it gave us a taste of what is to come. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. What was very clear is that I have underestimated what's involved and the effect of being hungry and tired. It's a bit of an eye-opener.
So it's a big day today.
So when we set off, will the trade winds have fully established themselves?
Generally it's following us. We get a little bit of northerly, a little bit of southerly, a little bit northeast, southeast, easterly, but it's all from that side. So we will very rarely be doing this going to windward. You know, we just won't do it. We've actually found the mainsail is no good for sailing to windward. We're going to modify a few things. Part of the deal with this training is to work out, not so much get the hours on the water, just work out what's working and what's not. But we're going to definitely change a few things on the sheeting here with the main. And the rest of it's okay. We've rigged an auxiliary forestay in case the outside one breaks. Yard sheet, get that yard sheet in.
Because we're out on our 2 or maybe 3 day training sail. We're going to get to know the boat, we're going to come back in, put the tent up and then head out for the night. And who knows, we may sail through the night, we may sit at anchor, but the important thing is we're going to be living on the boat.
I left the entire boat preparation to the crew leading up to the weekend, and then on the weekend itself I said, right, do it, get the boat ready, get it out there, let's go. This is a dress rehearsal of the trip across to Tonga. So the first thing we did was just basically get out in the water and make sure everything's right and then get into it. Very stable. More main sheet. Looks like a bunch of old women's washing up there. Dave, what are you doing? Maybe we're going to go to the shop and buy some new clothes.
It's like going to flipping sailing school with these guys.
He's had a bad day. But he's not as bad as Captain Blighs.
This weekend's all about sailing with the sort of a dress rehearsal. We've got a fair bit of gear on board, but we've also weighed it down with a lot of extra water as ballast, just to try